We are in the midst of what you could say is an altcoin capitulation, an absolute capitulation. Look at the bubbles. Every single bubble is red. And the truth is that we actually got conned. And I'll tell you why we actually got conned. Because we thought everything was fine. And the reason why we thought everything was fine was because we were looking at the Bitcoin chart. And on the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is still above 67,000. The problem is that while Bitcoin was holding itself high, the altcoins were actually silently capitulating. And last night, as Bitcoin moved down a little bit more, we had huge collapses in the altcoin. In fact, if you look at the altcoins, some of your favorite altcoins are down over 50%. And I know that on Twitter, there are a lot of people that are saying, hey bro, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But let me tell you, I wouldn't rush to buy the dip. I think that there may actually be a little bit of a way to go before we buy the dip. And that's why I'm going to show you what's causing this dip. It's not what you think. It's fundamental, and it's a change in market structure. I'm going to show you how long I think this altcoin capitulation is going to last, and I'm going to show you exactly what I think you should be doing. All right, so let's get on with it. Let's not waste any more time. So I know a lot of people were laughing at me when I said that I'm not exactly buying this dip and I'm waiting for the prices to go down. Well, let me tell you that I think now I've been vindicated. If you look at what's happening on the bubbles right now, it's absolutely crazy what's going on out there. Just have a look at the bubbles. Every single bubble is red. Every single bubble is completely red. And it does feel very much like an altcoin capitulation. And I'm going to show you what's causing this, because it's not what you think. It's a proper change in the market structure. There's been an absolute proper change in the market structure, and I want to show you what the change in the market structure is, and that is what is actually causing the dip. That's the part that's actually causing the dip. I see we don't have any comments up here. Are there comments coming up here? I see that there's a comments. There's a problem with the comments. All right, so we're going to try and fix the problem with the comments. But in the meantime, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you are subscribed to the channel, smash the like button, obliterate the like button. Let's get the show pumping. Let's get everybody here. This is an unscheduled stream on a Saturday, bringing you an unscheduled stream to talk about this absolute bloodbath of an altcoin capitulation. All right, so let's get to it. And I think the first thing that we need to talk about is how Bitcoin has actually been deceiving us. Because the problem is that if you were looking at the Bitcoin chart, what would have happened is you would have been deceived, because you would have thought, okay, look, Bitcoin's above 67 or above 68,000 or whatever it is. And it has been deceiving us because the price of Bitcoin has been so high. The problem is that while the Bitcoin price was so high, the altcoins were actually bleeding. And I showed you guys this spreadsheet over here. Let me try and get you that spreadsheet. So you have this spreadsheet over here. I showed this to you last week, and I showed you how much these coins had gone from their all-time high. I showed you that last week. And then if you look at them now, you're looking at some of the top altcoins, 48% away from the all-time high, 40% away from the all-time high, 53% away from the all-time high, 50% away from the all-time high. I showed this to you guys last week. I kept showing you guys that these were going up, and now we're starting to see the capitulation. And you can see it in the altcoins, and you can see it in the Bitcoin dominance. So if you look at the Bitcoin dominance now spiking up. It's at actually the cycle high. So if you look at Bitcoin dominance, and we'll just go onto the weekly, just so that you guys can see the weekly over here. You can see that this in this cycle, since 2021, we now have Bitcoin dominance at the cycle highs. And so when people say, look, seeing people freaking out over prices, open the Bitcoin chart, it's the same as it was 7 days ago, time to return to watching anime. Well, the truth is it's not really like that, because when you look at the altcoins, and specifically when you look at a lot of the altcoins that we're looking at, Rune, Telegram, Ton, etc., look at these wicks that went down. Rune was yesterday at 504. It's obviously back now at 561. Let's look at some other ones that actually went down quite a bit. Let's look at example Injective, INJ-USDT. I wonder what's happening with the comments. I wonder if there is if there is a problem with the comments. Hold on, let me see. Okay, then you can look at Injective. Injective went down. I mean, look at this, all the way down to 22.78. So it was at 34.68 before that, and it went down all the way down to $22. So what you're getting right now, I see that there might be a problem with the sound. Let's just see if is there a problem with the sound. Someone's saying there is a problem with the sound. Let's have a look here. Should be fine. 1 2 1 2 should be fine. Should be fine. So you then have you have these big altcoin capitulations, and so where we are now is that some of our altcoins, if you look at some of our altcoins are down 50 and even 60% away from the all-time highs. Now I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think that is. I'm showing you that this is very much a capitulation. It started off as a very silent correction, but it's now become a complete and utter altcoin capitulation, which is happening right now. And a lot of people in Twitter are saying, hey, buy the dip, buy the dip. But a lot of them don't understand the market structure. And you've got to be responsible. You've got to try and understand the market structure if you want to understand what's happening in this dip. It's pointless just to go in and to start buying blindly when you don't actually understand what's causing the dip. It's super important that you really understand. I'm going to show you 5 reasons why this dip is happening, and then you can make a decision as to what you should be doing next, what the next move is going to be. I'm not here to scare you, but I do want to show you exactly what's going on. So let's just talk about what happened and how it all started and all of that. So how did this all happen? Well, the first thing, let's quickly just continue looking at what happened. So we got a little spike down in Bitcoin yesterday. So what happened was we had a canary in the coal mine. And the canary in the coal mine is we saw that over the last 30 days, we had gold spiking up, we had silver spiking up, we have platinum spiking up, we have palladium spiking up. And I tweeted yesterday and I said, something's brewing, and whatever it is, it seems pretty imminent. And this was very much before the show, before the capitulation started to happen. Then we saw the VIX going up. Now, the VIX is the volatility index on the stock market. It is what people expect the stock market to do. It's the volatility of the stock market. And that spiked up. And when the VIX spiked up, we should have known that something was going to happen. We should have known that something was going to rock the boat. And it did. What happened was the market started to go down because there was fears of an Iran attacking Israel. And there was a drone attack in Israel. And of course, there's Biden getting involved. And what happened then? What happened then was we had an altcoin capitulation. In that capitulation, what you can see is that we had about $1 billion liquidated in 24 hours. It was one of the biggest liquidations that we've had this year. In fact, was it the biggest liquidation? Let's quickly have a look at the liquidation this year. But I mean, it was one of the biggest liquidations that we've had in a very long time. And you can see that the people that were selling, and this is super important, the people that were selling were the short-term holders. The weak hands were the ones that were actually selling. And so what you can see is that now the leverage positions have started to close. And I've often spoken about the fact that I feel like there's too many leverage positions. Now you can see that the leverage positions seem to have closed, but the leverage is still super, super, super high. Just look at the leverage relative to all the leverage in previous cycles. So you now have leverage coming down, but nowhere near where it needs to be for a full correction. And so as soon as that happened, as soon as we saw the attacks, as soon as Bitcoin went down like a couple of percent, then the altcoins absolutely capitulated. And now I want to show you why the altcoins capitulated, because it's not about the macro things. So yes, there may be World War III, and I don't even think it is World War III. I think it's just an escalation in the Middle East. But that is not what caused this correction. I want to show you what caused this correction because this is a fundamental change to the market structure. This is not a capitulation of the market. This is a capitulation of altcoins. It's a big difference. If you look at Bitcoin, nothing's happened with Bitcoin. It's still very much in this wedge, which is actually a very bullish pattern, funny enough. What happened here is something much bigger than that. It is a change or a problem with the altcoin market structure. And I want to show you the problem with the altcoin market structure. And I'm going to start off with the basics of the problem on the altcoin market structure. Guys, if you haven't smashed the like, destroy the like button. I see that we've only got 5,000 people here. We want to get all 10,000 of you. The only way to do it is if you guys smash the like button. All right, so what was wrong? What is wrong with the altcoin market? Why is the altcoin market starting to collapse? What am I so worried about? Well, the first thing is, as I've said to you before, there's froth in this market. And there has been froth in this market for a long time. The froth is not the fact that the fear and greed index is at all-time highs. That's not the froth that I'm talking about here. The froth is that we are in the midst of a market that is not paying attention to fundamentals anymore, and everyone is coming in to get rich quick, and they're doing all the wrong things. That is the signs of a frothy market. And what you can see is that we have meme coins being the best performing narrative this year. Now, as much as I love meme coins, and we're going to talk about meme coins a bit later, what you got to appreciate is that we are here for technological revolution. And when people start to come here and get rich on meme coins, that is what you call froth in the market. And so now we're dealing with a lot of froth in this market. And you can see that just by the way people have been investing. You can see that because people are not looking at fundamentals anymore. You can see that because WIF went to a dog with a hat, went to a $4 billion valuation, where protocols that are about to change the world are not at those kind of valuations. Now, I mean, someone says the wealth was never real, a lot of these tokens. WIF at a $4 billion valuation with only $30 million of AMM liquidity is one of the best examples. And that means that when everybody dumps, what's going to dump first or what's going to dump the hardest? It's going to be the meme coins that are going to dump the hardest. That's basically what happened. So that's the first thing. There's a lot of froth in the market, and there was a lot of FOMO in the market. And of course, the people that traded the meme coins were the ones that were actually absolutely obliterated. This is not about meme coins. This is about the froth in the market and what's happening in the market. And meme coins are just like an indicator of it. Meme coins are just like a symbol of what has happened to our market. People are coming here to get rich quick. People don't care about fundamentals. People don't care about investing. They're taking leverage. I mean, just look at this leverage chart. I want to show it to you guys. Just look at that leverage chart. That leverage is too high. Those are signs of froth, and those are signs of a correction. But again, that's not what is fundamentally broken with the market. So it's not the macro, and it's not the fact that there was froth, even though those are contributors. The biggest problem right now with the market is the following. And this is the part where you need to pay attention. You need to pay close attention to what I'm saying to you guys right now. We are in a market where retail is not in here yet. Now, you can see that when you look at the YouTube subscribers, this is what the peak of a bull market looks like. This is what the pre-peak of a bull market looks like. And this is the YouTube subscribers that we currently have in the market. You can see quite clearly, when you look at this, when you look at the search terms, you can see quite clearly that the retail investor is not in the market. Now, what does that mean? It means that there's no one here to buy your bags. If there's no retail investors coming into the market, there's no one here to buy your altcoin bags. When it comes to Bitcoin, the situation is slightly different. The reason why the situation is slightly different is because we've got the ETF buyers coming in here to buy Bitcoin when there are dips. But we don't have the retail investor here to buy altcoins, from the retail investors not here. And so retail investors who are the ones buying altcoins are not here, and they're not actually buying the altcoins. So that's the first thing that is happening in the market. But that's the first thing. Now, on top of that, we are now seeing a big problem in the market. And this is where you need to pay attention. So it's not the macro. That's not the thing. It's not the froth in the market. It's a combination of the fact that retail is not in the market, and we have reached a market which is being drowned in token releases. And so, you know, like how token releases work, where you get tokens and these tokens release small batches of tokens, and I'll show you. So this is like a typical token release chart. They've got a very, very, very low, hold on, let me try, there we go. Let me try and get us a better look at that. So this is okay, that's a typical token. That's a very sensitive, typical token release chart, where they start off with a few tokens in the market, and then they release a whole lot of new tokens on the market, as you can see over here, right? And when that happens, if there's no buyers, and if retail is not around to buy those tokens, then you're in a problem where all these tokens are coming into the market, and there's no one to buy the tokens because retail's not in the market. And so you can see this tweet over here. Let's look at this tweet. Let me just get you to this tweet over here. So let's look over here, where it says, this guy says, in June 2021, Lido was at 260 with a market cap of $60 million. Today, Lido is at 260 with a market cap of $2 billion. And the best way to look at that is to go here and to go and look at the market cap. So not the price. I go to CoinGecko and I click on market cap. When I click on market cap, let me just get us back to market cap. And hold on a second. Okay, let's just get. So we're going to go back here. We're going to click on market cap. and we're going to go to maximum market cap. Now, what you'll notice is that the price of Lido, and I want to show you this, let's go back to price. So if you look at the price and you look at the max price of Lido, the price of Lido is at about $2.60, right? And if you look at June 2021, when Lido was at a 2 billion market cap, the price of Lido was much higher. The reason for that is because more tokens have actually hit the market. So in the old days, that was the amount of tokens in the market. And how you get the market cap is you say the price times the number of tokens in circulation. And so what you can see is that as tokens release more and more tokens onto the market, if there's no retail to absorb those tokens, effectively there's no buyers for those tokens, and the price will actually just start going down. And you can see it with many other things. Like this is Arbitrum. Arbitrum had a lot of tokens locked up. As soon as these tokens unlocked, all of a sudden there had to be demand to buy up all these tokens. Problem is, if retail ain't here, who's buying up the tokens? No one. And because no one is buying up the tokens, and all these tokens are being released on the market, if no one's buying up these tokens and all these tokens are being released onto the market, then we've got ourselves a big problem. We've got a market where there are more and more and more tokens being released on the market, and there's no buyers to buy it up. And so right now, we are being victims of all these token releases. So let me show you another example. If you look at Solana, let's quickly go to Solana on this thing over here. So let's look at Solana, and there it is. So you can see that Solana, and I'm going to go to market cap of Solana. Now, you'll agree with me that if we go to let's just go to the price of Solana. Hold on, let me just try and get us something here. Let's just see if I can get it quickly for us here. Okay, let's see if we can get the price of Solana. There we go. So what you can see here is that even though the price of Solana is not at its all-time high. So you'll agree with me that this is the all-time high of Solana, and you'll agree with me that right now we're not near the all-time high of Solana. The thing is, when you look at the market cap, because there are more and more tokens that have been released into the market, we're now in a position that those tokens, see, look at the market cap. Because there are more tokens in the market, the price just keeps going down and down and down, and the market cap keeps going higher and higher and higher. So the reality of what's happening here is that we're starting to drown in tokens. All these projects are putting more tokens in the market. Retail isn't here to buy it. So who's buying it? Well, no one. That's the problem. And that's why the house of cards is starting to collapse. And to make that even worse, I just want to show you a few more examples of this. So you can look at tokens like Dimension. You can look at tokens like all these low token circulation, high fully diluted valuation tokens. So Arbitrum is one of them. Dimension is another one of them. Then you've got Solana is another one of them. They keep leaking tokens into the market. Okay, so that's the first problem. Second problem that we have, over and above the fact that more and more tokens are leaking into the market, is that there are many, many, many new launches coming into the market. So remember, retail is not here. There's all the existing projects which are starting to bleed more and more tokens into the market. And think about it like you're in a swimming pool, and the swimming pool is filled up to your hips, and then someone just switches on the taps, and more tokens start to fill the market. Eventually, you're just going to drown. You're not going to be able to absorb all those tokens. The second thing that's happening is that there's a whole lot of new projects that are coming onto the market. I'm going to just show you some of the new projects, but you got 𝗓𝗓𝗓, you got Saga, you got Wormhole, you've got Zeus, you got Starknet. All of these projects are coming onto the market with huge fully diluted valuations, $120 billion fully diluted valuations. And they're coming in with very low tokens in circulation. And so what does that mean is that they're draining the liquidity, because for the market to maintain these fully diluted valuations, someone has to be buying these tokens. So who's buying these tokens? Well, that's the problem. Retail is not here. And so when you're saying that you're in a market where old tokens are emitting tokens at a very fast pace, and new projects are launching in the market at a crazy, crazy, crazy pace, what you're getting is, if you don't have retail investors to actually buy these tokens, like I showed you over here, if you don't have these retail investors to actually buy the tokens, the problem is that there's only one way for price to go. And you guys have seen it. You've seen it with the meme coins. I mean, just look at how the meme coins started. There were a few meme coins. All the money was concentrated in a few meme coins. Now there's 100,000 meme coins. There's a new meme coin every 20 seconds. and the money just moves from one place to the other. It's the bees. It's the bees moving from one place to another, trying to absorb all this token supply. And if these new launches are coming in very, very quickly, there's pretty much nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's no one to absorb the tokens that are being emitted, and there's no one to absorb these new projects that are coming onto the market. And when you're in a market where these tokens are emitting, and there's no one to absorb the buying pressure, and new tokens are coming on, problem is, what happens? The price can only go down. And that's a problem with the market structure. And the only way to fix that is for new retail money to come in the market, not institutional money, because institutional money ain't going to buy the altcoins. We need retail to come into the market. And if we don't get retail coming into the market, and all these tokens keep emitting, and we keep adding new projects to the market, eventually the prices are going to go down and down and down. And the other problem that we have, is that before tokens actually come to the market, the problem is that the valuations before they come to market are so high, ridiculously high, that there's no space for retail investors to actually make money. And so this Vlad says, he says, the selling will not stop. They're up so large on mark-to-markets where they are. Because remember, the VC investors get in way before you guys. And when they get in, so they're getting into Berachain now, they raised $100 million. I mean, if they raised $100 million on a valuation of $100 million, if these companies are raising huge raises like this from the VCs, Monad raises $225 million. Now, if Monad raised $225 million, you can assume that the valuation was over $1 billion. The problem is that there's no space for the retail investor to actually land up money, to making money. Because by the time the VC rounds are finished, and they're already at a $1 or $2 billion fully diluted, they come to market with very low token floats. Retail buys up the low token floats, and then they drown the retail investor in tokens, and eventually retail investor get chased out the market. This is a fundamental problem with this market structure. And unless we can either bring in a lot of retail investors, which I think will come in at some stage, or we can change these tokenomics not to drown retail in projects, then unfortunately the only way for this market to go is actually for the market to go down. That's pretty much the only way for the market to go. And so this is what the problem is right now. It's a combination of the fact that there's no retail, that we're drowning in tokens, that there's new projects coming in all the time, and there's a very limited amount of money, that the VCs are getting in at very high valuations already off market, leaving very little profit for the retail investors to be making. That's another problem that is happening. And then the last problem that we have is what Arthur Hayes said in his article. And if you read Arthur Hayes' article, this is what he said. I'll show you what he said over here. Let's just go into here. So he said, look, he said, to date, I took full profit on these positions. Mu, Sol, NMT. The proceeds were placed into Athena's USDE and staked to earn a higher fat yield. And he's earning, so now let's put this whole thing together. Retail's not here. We're drowning in tokens that are being released on old projects because it's token vesting time. Then on top of that, to make matters worse, we're getting a whole lot of new projects. And so the limited retail pot is chasing a whole lot of new projects, Wormhole, Athena, Saga, and everything else. Then on top of that, to make matters even worse, the VCs are investing at such high valuations off the market because they're FOMOing into deals that there's no space for the retail investor to make money, and therefore there's no incentive for the retail investor to actually come into crypto. And the truth is then, if you want to be in cash right now, your incentives to be in cash are actually huge. I mean, if you look at Athena, Athena's been yielding in the last couple of days anywhere between 35% and 15% or 22% on USDs. When you're in a market, when the market is heated and there's froth and there's no real money for the retail investor to make, and you can get yourself 30% by just putting money in USDE, that is a very unhealthy market structure. And unfortunately, that's where we are. And so when people are telling you that you should be buying the dip, maybe these people aren't looking at the market structure. In fact, I think that this is the beginning of a bigger altcoin reckoning, which is about to happen. That's exactly what I think. Now, do I think in any way that this bull market is over? Is there any chance for me that the bull market is over? Absolutely not. And in fact, to make matters even better or worse, I think that this is the time, in the next couple of months, this is the time when millionaires are going to be made. Not at the top. And I kept warning you guys at the top. I was always the one at the top saying, I'm not buying any altcoins because they're not cheap, they're not expensive. I said, I'm not buying because I'm not happy with the fear and greed. Now let's go back and just quickly visit the fear and greed. Let's just have a look at the fear and greed and just see where the fear and greed actually is. So let's see if we can just find it here. So I said to you guys, I'm waiting for a 30-point drop in the fear and greed. I think the max was about 85. We are at about 51. So we are getting there, but still look at the fear and greed relative to the rest of the market. It's not cheap enough for me. Still not scary enough for me. Still not where I want to be buying. Although now is probably the time where you should start thinking of buying, because there's no way in hell that this is the end of the bull market, or at least I don't see this being the end of the bull market. I do see it as the beginning of one of the real corrections in this bull market. And I said to you that for me, when will I determine that it's a real correction? I'll say that it's a real correction when people are getting really scared. And for the first time now, I'm starting to feel that people are getting really scared, or people are feeling really scared with their positions. They're not as confident about their positions. Their major altcoin bags are 50% down, and now the shit starts to begin. Now it starts to get hurt. Now the degens are starting to get all their profits wiped out. This is the first time that I'm feeling comfortable that this is a potential real correction. And real corrections are what separate the boys from the men. This is what's going to separate the bad traders and the poor traders with the people that are going to make life-changing money in this bull market. So it's not the end of the bull market. It's just a typical correction in a market cycle. And I told you that when Bitcoin corrects 25 to 30%, the altcoins are going to correct 50%. And now the altcoins have corrected 50%. And now I'm almost ready to start buying. But I'm paying attention to market structure, because here we have on the daily, we have a lower low. We've broken the market structure. And so I'm not rushing to buy anything yet, but I am getting ready. You can see that the RSIs on the daily are pretty much back to very good levels. The RSIs on the 4-hour are also back to very, very, very good levels. I'm waiting for the RSIs on the weekly, on the bigger time frame, to actually get better. And then you got to sober yourself up and say, look, nothing's changed with the technology. The blockchain technology and what it's about is being more advanced than ever. What's wrong here is that there was too much froth in the market. Now the froth's being really, really, really flashed out. Now is when the millionaires and the billionaires are going to be made. The people that were FOMOing in at the top and rushing to buy, when I was saying to people, I'm not buying yet, I'm not buying yet, I'm not buying yet, the people that were rushing to buy in those situations, they got wrecked. They got liquidated last night. I was watching it. I saw yesterday that we had almost $1 billion liquidated, and I saw that the most people that got liquidated were these people over here. They were the inexperienced investors. They were the ones with the Pepe positions. They were the ones with the meme coin positions. Well, they're now gone. Now, as Elio says, if you're not already rich, if you don't have life-changing money, this is what's going to give you the life-changing entries. But you've got to be smart, and you've got to know what you're doing here. And that's what I want to talk to you about, because there is a certain formula that you have to do, and the formula is very different from anything that we've ever done. So let's talk about what the formula is here and what the story is here. So the first thing is you have to start putting together a buy list. Now is the time to put together a buy list. Every buy list is different, and we will do some buy lists this week. This is my current buy list. It's not your buy list, because your portfolio doesn't look like my portfolio. And the things that are missing from my portfolio and the things that are missing from your portfolio are different. But we will spend some time together, and we will put together a buy list in the next couple of days. The next thing that you have to do is to make sure that you don't get liquidated. So in fact, number one, make sure you don't get liquidated. Number two, put together a buy list. Start doing it now, because when the prices go down to good levels, you don't want to be thinking. You won't have time to think. If you saw how quickly these wicks happened last night, if you had a plan, you could have put your plan in and you could have already been up. But now is the time to not get liquidated, to put together a buy list. The next thing now is you have to now change your mindset, and you have to start looking at multi-cycle protocols. protocols that are going to be big in the next cycle. Now, why do I say that? Because as I said to you, there's no retail investors here to buy your short-term bags. They're not here. There's no one here to buy your bags. And those that were here, they got liquidated. They left last night. They're gone. Which means that the projects and tokens that are going to do well are the ones that are going to be here multi-cycle. Which means that from now on, when you make investments, you don't try and ride the momentum. You try and make long-term investments that are going to be multi-cycle investments. And that way, if there are no people to buy them from you in this cycle, there will be people to buy it from you in the next cycle. It's kind of like the old Solanas, kind of like the old Ethereums, kind of like the runes. Those are the bets that you got to be making. Stop fucking around with momentum tokens, because as you can see with momentum tokens, they do get completely ripped. So, number one, don't get liquidated. Number two, make a buy list. Number three, make sure that your buy list is a multi-cycle buy list. Number four, you have to become an expert in tokenomics. We haven't spoken a lot about tokenomics, but now's the time. You need to understand token releases, and you need to understand that if you're buying a token when there's very few tokens in circulation, and over time, more tokens start to release themselves, you know what's going to happen? You're going to drown in those tokens. Which means that now you need to become an expert in tokenomics. You need to, when you make your buy list, you also need to go and look at the tokenomics. And sometimes, no matter how good a token looks, like Dimension, like Celestia, as much as we love the token, right? The one thing that I don't love is drowning in tokens in a token release schedule that looks something like that. Because the truth is that even if you buy it here, even if you're right about the technology and you're getting this amount of tokens, you will drown. Which means that the projects that you should invest in must have a faster growth than their token releases. Otherwise, you will just drown in the tokens. It's super important that you become a tokenomics expert. We will spend a lot of time, and every time we tell you to buy something, we will go back and look at the tokenomics. But this is the time, because there's no retail investor, because the retail investor isn't here yet, and until they arrive here, you need to make sure that you guys start to understand tokenomics, and that you guys actually become tokenomics experts. And if you don't, no matter how good your calls are, you will become a a product of too many tokens. So quickly, just to recap. Number one, I don't think this is the end of the bull market, but I do believe that we're in what's going to be quite a rough correction. And in this correction, we're going to flash out a lot of leverage. We're not going to have a dog with a hat that's going to be valued at $4 billion. We're not going to have meme coins and altcoins being ridden on hype. I do think that this is the beginning of a real correction. And I do think that in this correction, this is where the millionaires will be made. I think that the market structure was broken. I think that we're all drowning in tokenomics. I think that there's too many projects being launched. I think the projects that are being launched at very high valuations, and there's no retail person to buy those tokens. And so I think that we needed this flash out. Now we've got the flash out. Now the people that are going to make money are the people with the buy lists, and the people that understand tokenomics, and the people that are not tempted to buy projects, good projects, but with bad tokenomics. Because a good project with bad tokenomics is like buying a terrible project. You can hold it, but you'll just drown. As they release more and more tokens, you'll just be the product, and you'll just land up drowning. And that's not somewhere that you want to be. That's not somewhere that you want to be. And so we will spend some time this week and next week making sure that people have good buy lists. We will check the tokenomics and see that you're not going to drown in tokens. And we're going to use this period to make life-changing money. Just do me a favor. Don't get leveraged out in this bull run. Don't get scared. This is when the millionaires will be made. I took a few positions today. I added to my rune position. I added to a couple of other positions, although I don't think it's the right time to be going all in yet. So chill, we're not going all in yet. Also, if you have bad investments in your portfolio, altcoins that you're less than proud to be holding, now's a great time to probably release them and sell them and swap. Don't sell them into cash, but sell them and swap them into other good quality tokens. Because this might be the beginning of a much longer altcoin correction. So that is where it is. I wish I could say, let me know in the comments how you guys are doing, but I don't know if I'm not getting any comments yet. I see that the live chat is here. So I see the live chat is working, but I haven't been able to follow the comments here. Okay, so someone's trying to reconnect me. Okay, well, anyway, I do see that it's all here, and it is all working. In fact, let me just quickly have a look here. Okay, so yes. Okay, now I can actually see your comments. I can't see them on the screen, but I can actually see them over here. I do want to talk about something else that there you see. I do see all your 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗗𝗢𝗢, love the show, 𝗥𝗘𝗢𝗢 to the moon, amazing. What's up, Ryan? Okay, so what I want to show you now is I want to show you. A lot of you may have seen this announcement that we made. Let me find it for you. So a lot of you may have seen this. This is the breaking news. In the world of memes, the world's biggest crypto week in Dubai, there was a meeting between us and 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗓𝗧, the meme coin 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗓𝗧. And I want to spend some time just talking about this meme coin, which, as you can see, wasn't really hit by this correction. It's a meme coin called 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗧. The ticker is 𝗥𝗘𝗟, 𝗕𝗤𝗙𝗍𝒑. And recently, I watched one of their videos. And when I watched one of their videos, I saw that their content was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen their content, but if we go to 𝗥𝗚𝗅's website, so to 𝗥𝗚𝗅's Twitter, I want to show you what we've done here and why we're so excited about this, not acquisition, but partnership. So as you can see, this is a... So long story short, 𝗥𝗚𝗅 is like a degen version of Tucker. He's a degen, he is a meme, and he has a massive, massive meme community. And I watched some of their videos, and I had a couple of concerns. One of my concerns was, can they keep their content high alpha enough and relevant? And so when I saw this, I thought to myself, I've got to get hold of the people at 𝗥𝗚𝗅. I got hold of the founders, and we spoke about the idea of creating a real high alpha, informative, meme-powered media station. Imagine you could get real alpha powered by a meme, and the meme is 𝗥𝗚𝗅. So this is the announcement that they made. Okay, so someone says there's no sound in the video. So basically, the 𝗥𝗚𝗅𝗧 network, the 𝗥𝗚𝗅𝗧 network is a meme coin, which is 𝗥𝗚𝗅𝗧. Okay, so it is how 𝗥𝗚𝗅𝗧 would talk about the news. And so what I did was I reached out to the founders and I said, listen, why don't we do a partnership with Banter and try and build the world's first meme-powered media station? And so we said we would collaborate with the team at 𝗥𝗚𝗅, and over the next few weeks, we will begin publishing high alpha, relevant stories several times a day. And 𝗥𝗚𝗅 will also be a new host and have his own dedicated show on Banter. I said you can also expect to see breaking news interviews with other memes, with Elizabeth, with Warren, with Larry Pink, with Vitalik Buterin, interviews with Jensen after the results. And so we will bring in multiple other memes, and we'll create the world's first meme media channel. I think with the power that Banter has and the infrastructure that Banter has, and with the team at 𝗥𝗚𝗅, when we start bringing in all these other memes, we're going to revolutionize media. We're going to create the world's first meme media station. And so we're super excited about it. We do have a position, obviously, in the token. We bought a position in the token when we had this vision. If you're interested in, I don't know, joining the movement, the ticker is 𝗥𝗚𝗅, 𝗕𝗤𝗙𝗍𝒑. I'm super excited about that. I'll tell you what else I'm super excited about. I'm super excited about the fact that if you are farming points on Banter Bubbles for GUMMY, it is a double points weekend. So we've sped up the points counter, and you're earning double the number of points if you're using your Banter Bubbles app this weekend, just so you know. So if you're not already on Banter Bubbles, make sure that you got it. There's a few days left to mine. If you are not farming points already, one, go and get the Banter Bubbles app. But more importantly, go and open an account at 𝗏𝗏𝗡. 𝗏𝗏𝗡 is a centralized exchange. They're going to be the first centralized exchange to list bubbles. A lot of people want to list bubbles. We've said, look, let 𝗏𝗏𝗡 list it first, and then the rest. So if you want to get an account, number one, sign up at 𝗏𝗏𝗡. Number two, sniper school's finished, so you can't even get into sniper school. You need to, you can farm on bubbles, or you can sign up to 𝗏𝗏𝗡. Time is running out, guys. Time is running out. And remember, if you get each one of those actions is a new way to farm bubbles, so it just doesn't mix up with the old way. So if open an account on 𝗏𝗏𝗡, you get a certain number of points. Getting a certain number of points in bubbles, that gives you an extra number of bubbles points. Cool. I think that's it for today. I'll see you guys again later on this week. We're going to bring a lot of coverage from Token 29 in Dubai and Dubai Blockchain Week. As you can see, I am traveling. I am in Dubai. I just wanted to bring you some coverage about this correction. See you guys all again on Monday. Oh, see you all again tomorrow on Banter Plus. We have a meme coin show. Until then, remember, the ticker is 𝗥𝗘𝗟𝗗𝗢, T-O-O-K-R. See you guys all again tomorrow.